Hey guys, welcome to my legal classes. This is Ganesh Pujari and we were discussing the regional human rights system. When it comes to the regional human rights system, there are five important regional systems. They are the European, American, African, Arabian and the Asian regional systems. Now, one of the important regional system is the American human rights system, and here we are going to study the American Convention on Human Rights, which happened in the year 1978, which is famously known as Pact of San Jose. We are not just going to discuss the Pact of San Jose, I am also going to discuss on the Inter-American Commission of Human Rights and the Inter-American Court of Human Rights. Now that way this becomes the comprehensive study on the regional systems of American human rights system. Why to waste time? Let's get into the first slide. This video might go little lengthier, but you need to stay with me till the end to understand the concept in detail. Now the American Convention on Human Rights, or the famously known as Pact of San Jose, was signed on 22nd November 1969 but came into effect only on 18th July 1978. That is why we are calling it as the American Convention on Human Rights 1978. There are two important implementing bodies which are specified in Chapter 4 of the American Convention on Human Rights, specifically in Article 33, and the two bodies are the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights and the Inter-American Court of Human Rights. When it comes to these two implementing bodies, they are known as Organization of American States, or the famously known as OAS. Remember this term very clearly, Organization of American States or the OAS. When it comes to the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, it was there back in the year 1959 itself, but then it was brought in the Chapter 7 of the American Convention on Human Rights, and it is covered between Article 34 to 51, and the Inter-American Court of American Right is the Chapter 8 of the American Convention on Human Rights, which is covering from Article 52 to Article 69, and I have all details on them in my future slides. If you want to know some interesting fact about the convention, I have one very interesting fact here. I said this came into effect on 18 July 1978, and you might be thinking that all the American states have ratified this without any condition. No, there were few states which had their own reservations and they have ratified mentioning those reservations. That means we are not okay with such and such clauses. For example, Canada and Mexico had reservation on the Article 4 subclause 1, which says every person has the right to have his life respected. This right shall be protected by law and in general from the moment of conception. Remember, the moment of conception he gets this right, and no one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his life. Now that means you cannot allow abortion. However, in Canada and Mexico, the abortion was legalized. So they ratified this convention saying that we are having reservation on this particular article, otherwise we are okay. Now that is also happened, which is what you need to remember. If it was a convention on human rights, then we need to have the list of those human rights got via this particular convention. The Americans got as many as 24 human rights via this particular convention, in which Chapter 2 covers as many as 23 civil and political rights from Article 3 to Article 25, and Chapter 3 is dealing with one article which is discussing about all the economic, social and cultural rights are being given via this particular convention. What are the civil and political rights? It is the right to juridical personality, right to life, right to human treatment, freedom from slavery, right to personal liberty, right to a fair trial, freedom from ex post facto laws, right to compensation, right to privacy, freedom of conscience and religion, freedom of thought and expression, right of reply, right of assembly, freedom of association, rights of the family, right to a name, right of the child, right to a nationality, right to property, freedom of movement and residence, right to participate in government, right to equal protection, and right to judicial protection. Then chapter 3 article 26 was discussing about the economic, social and cultural rights. In a nutshell, if you happen to see all the rights that are being given from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights 1948 and the two important international covenants which happened in the year 1966, all of them are covered comprehensively from the American Regional Human Rights System. Then comes the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. As far as the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights are concerned, the most important aspect that we need to learn is the functions of the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. Before getting into functions, let's have little bit background about this particular organization. Remember that the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights was available from the year 1959 itself, and later it was added as the Chapter 7 of the American Convention on Human Rights. It was covered between Article 34 to 51 with four major sections. Section 1 is covering about the organization from Article 34 to 40. Section 2 covers all the functions from Article 41 to 43. And then we have Section 3 which covers the competence between Article 44 to 47. And then we have Section 4 which covers about the procedure from Article 48 to 51. There are three articles which are discussing about the functions of the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, and the last two articles, that is Article 42 and 43, are mostly of executive kind of articles. I'm not going to discuss on them because they are not very important, but Article 41 is a very important article. The functions here are to develop human rights awareness among the Americans, to make recommendations via conferences, meetings, seminars to the government of the member state, to prepare the performance report, which is one of the most important function, and then to collect the information by the member states, and then to respond through the General Secretariat of the Organization of American States, then to take action on petitions and other communications which are coming from the states, and then to submit an annual report to the General Assembly of the Organization of the American States. These are the very important functions. To just brief again, to develop human rights awareness, to make recommendations, to prepare performance report, to collect the information, to take actions on the petitions, and to submit the annual report. Then comes the Inter-American Court of Human Rights. Now, as far as the commissions and the court structure, I am going to discuss in the last slide. But before that, let us try understand the basic facts and the functions of this organization. That is how I am progressing. Now, this particular court was established in the year 1979 as a result of Pact of San Jose. Now, the Inter-American Court of Human Rights is covered in the Convention, chapter number 8, that is from Article 52 to Article 69. This particular part has three major sections. Section 1 dealing with the organization from Article 52 to 60. Section 2 dealing with jurisdiction and function from Article 61 to 65. And Section 3 deals with procedures from Article 66 to 69. As I said, let us first focus on the functions of the Inter-American Court of Human Rights. The first question that might come into your mind is, who has the right to submit a case to this particular court? And the answer is covered under Article 61, which says only the state parties and the commission shall have the right to submit a case to the court. Not every Jack and Jill can give a case to this particular court. Only the state parties and the commission can submit a case to this particular court. That is very important. Another important aspect that we need to remember is, to have the right to submit a case to the court, the state party should be the party to this particular convention. How that happens? That is what precisely is discussed under Article 62. There are two ways by which a state party can become the party for this particular convention. One, by signing an instrument of ratification, or by just adhering to this convention, a state party can become party to this particular convention. Now the next question may be coming into your mind is whether such declaration should be made unconditionally or not. Now the answer is it need not to be unconditionally. There can be conditions of reciprocity or for a specified period or for specific cases. We have already discussed one interesting case in my first slide itself with regards to Canada and Mexico, which were not okay with Article 4.1, which was discussing or negating the opportunities for abortion, and they have ratified the convention by mentioning their reservation on that particular article. That way it is possible. What if there is a violation of human rights which are given under this particular convention? Article 63 discusses about the same. If there is any violation of the human rights given via this particular convention, then the injured party will get the remedies from the court. Court will inquire the case and give the remedies accordingly. And if it is an urgent case, then court will have all provisional measures to deal with such cases. That is all about Article 63. Article 64 is a kind of consultation power or function that the Inter-American Court of Human Rights has got. Now, if there are any state, they have confusion related to the interpretation of the convention or any other matter that may be of a domestic law or whatsoever, if they have any doubts pertaining to that, they can definitely approach the Inter-American Court of Human Rights and the court will help as much as possible on that particular aspect to the states. Article 65 says, to each regular session of the General Assembly of the Organization of American State, the court shall submit for the Assembly's consideration a report on its work during the previous year. That is a kind of reporting which the Inter-American Court of Human Rights has to do. It shall specify in the particular the cases in which a state has not complied with its judgment, making any pertinent recommendations. So if there are any violation, that will also be the part of this particular report, which is one of the important function as per Article 65. Before concluding the session, let's see this important last slide. This is all about the structure of the Organization of American States. I have brought both the OAS in this particular slide, that is the Inter-American Court of Human Rights and the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. Now, what will you do if there is a question on IACHR? Now, whether you are going to address the court or commission. Guys, remember, this is very important point. The abbreviation for IACHR is the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights and not the court. Remember that part very clearly. Few of the important structural aspects of the Inter-American Court of Human Rights are the location of this particular court is San Jose, Costa Rica, and the number of judges is 7, and they are all having the nationality of the member state, and the base for election is based on their individual capacity, which is on highest moral authority and human rights competence. One state can have only one representative at a time, and the term for every judge is 6 years, and every judge has an opportunity to be re-elected only once. That means your overall maximum number of years that you can spend with this particular court as a judge is 12 years, and the quorum is there should be attendance of 5 out of 7 judges. And finally, the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, that is the IACHR, should appear in all the cases before this particular court. These are the few important structural aspects as far as the Inter-American Court of Human Rights is concerned. Then comes the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, that is IACHR, which is located in Washington DC. Number of members here also is 7, and base of election is based on the individual capacity, and they are representatives of state government suggestion based on their individual capacity on the basis of highest moral authority and human right competence. Election is done by the General Assembly, and as I have already explained, the functions of both of these organizations is very important. As far as OA is concerned, the most important aspect is their functions, and I hope you are very strong by now. That's all you need to know about the Pact of San Jose, which covers all important aspects related to the regional human rights system of America. the Inter-American Commission of Human Rights, and the Inter-American Court of Human Rights. I hope that was sufficient information. Please subscribe my channel. Please like, share and comment my videos. All the very best for whatsoever purpose you are referring my channel, and thanks again.